is going on? This is AlTone, and this is the Ruko F11 GIM2 4K camera drone. So the Ruko F11 GIM2 is an awesome little drone. In the box, you have a carrying case. It's a really nice carrying case. It's actually pretty solid and should give your drone some pretty good protection. I wouldn't stand on it or step on it, but it's still a great case, and it keeps your drone, your batteries, and everything together perfectly. Then in the case, you have, of course, the Ruko F11 GIM2 drone with 2-axis gimbal, a transmitter controller with a built-in battery, 2 batteries with 28-minute flight time per battery, 2 USB to USB-C charging cables, an Allen wrench, 1 full set of extra props with mounting screws, an instruction manual, a quick start guide, and a disclaimer and safety guidelines document. And I would suggest that you read through all of the manuals that the F11 GIM2 actually come with so that you become very familiar with the drone. And when you go out to fly, always take the quick start guide with you so that you can make sure that you use the proper procedures for takeoff and landing. So there's a few functions of the Ruko F11 GIM2 that I actually really like. It has a beginner mode which limits the altitude and distance of flight and can be turned off while you're in flight. So if you take off and you forget to turn it off in the controller, it's not a problem. You can actually go into the menu and turn off the beginner mode. I had to do that myself. You have waypoint flight, points of interest, a GPS follow me, a follow me, image recognition, hand gestures for taking photos and starting video, and a GPS return to home. So now let's take a look at the drone and the controller so you can become a little more familiar with it. On the drone itself, on the top you have the battery bay, then a power button, the battery level indicator LEDs, and of course your folding arms with status LEDs, which also have your motors and props. And the motors on the Ruko F11 GIM2 are brushless motors. On the front, you have your 4K camera with a 2-axis gimbal, which stabilizes the up and down movement and the horizon leveling of the drone. On the side, you have the battery release buttons, a USB-C charging port on the battery itself, and a micro USB card slot. And the Ruko F11 GIM2 requires a micro SD card class 10 and will accept a size 32 gigs up to 128 gigs. On the controller or the remote, you have your control sticks, which are set to mode 2. It has a display that gives you a ton of information, which is fantastic. Across the bottom of the remote, you have the GPS mode button, the emergency stop button, the power button, and last but not least, you have the return to home button. On the top of the remote, you have your antennas, of course. Then you have a zoom control wheel and an angle control wheel. You have a photo button and a video button. On the bottom, you have 2 flip out arms that allow you to be able to, give you a little bit better grip on the controller itself, and USB-C connector so that you can charge the controller. I've really, truly had a ball flying this drone. It has been absolutely phenomenal. It's very stable in the air, captures great video, great photos. I'm looking forward to getting a lot more use out of this. Hope that this helped you out in some way. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll talk to you again in a future video.